A Java with John, a Java with John. Grab a cup of Java and sit on down and have some Java with John.
Hello, my name is John, and this is my Java. Well, as you may note, my voice sounds a little bit different today. I'm quite sick, actually, but the show must go on, and I know at work, you gotta work when you're sick, go and teach workshops when you're sick, and I've done that many, many times, so yeah, the show must go on. So not a lot of comments from my last video, so I'm not really gonna chat about that. So I'm just gonna get into the last thing of what I want to talk about. Excuse me, and that is the role of a manager in a leadership position. So and I might talk like this because of the fact that it doesn't strain my throat as much when I talk like this, so yeah. So anyways, in my last few videos, again, I've talked about the role of a supervisor, the role of a leader in a leadership position. And as I said, the kind of supervisors in the middle, the manager for me is the toughest, right? I have a hard time. Again, I think I said my numbers were 40, 40, 20, something like that in terms of leadership versus supervisor versus manager and what my strengths were. And I definitely can say that the manager portion was a challenge for me. However, that being said, I got better at it because I do realize the necessity for good management skills when you are in a leadership position. And I know, again, right, that if you don't display those good managerial skills when you need to, your leadership position is a lot more of a struggle. So again, if I could find my way around, if I could find shortcuts, I would find shortcuts. If I couldn't find shortcuts, then I just have to, you know, do the planning, do the coordination. And again, sometimes for me in the group homes, that was delegating who people were good at that, right? I knew some people of my staff had good managerial skills. I also knew team leaders had good managerial skills. So if we had bigger projects, I'd go to them and ask them for their help and for their support. We have the place I used to work with, we have one lady, she's a phenomenal manager, phenomenal manager. Sometimes almost too good for her own, you know, for her own bridges, right? Because I think sometimes she was so focused on that other stuff, those interpersonal relationship skills, those vision skills, those ability to give direction to her whatever you want to call them, to her staff, struggled and was a bit tougher for her to do because she liked that manager role so much. And I believe the manager role requires the least amount of interpersonal relationship because managerial stuff tends to be very black and white. So what qualities make a good manager? I think I'm just going to hold this cup of coffee in my hand. Well, the first one I think is really good time management skills. Yeah, if you know how you're managing your time, if you can block off time for this, that, the other thing, that's really good. I think sometimes though, where the manager, again, struggles if emergencies come up, this, that, the other thing, but they tend to be able to prioritize things pretty good. But yeah, sometimes they will just over-manage their life down to the 5 minutes. And again, I think sometimes you gotta chill out and relax a little bit because things happen, emergencies happen. Another good quality of a manager is managers that know the policies and procedures of the organization, of the agency, their company they're working for. Again, talking about this manager again, I mean, you could go talk to her about policy and procedure. She was stronger in some than others, but she'd always know where to find the policies and procedures. She'd always be referring to them. When our agency got their certification, accreditation, whatever your company / agency calls it, whether it's from a local body, a provincial, federal, international, one of the steps is going through your policies and procedures and ensuring that that stuff is up to snuff and up to par with the standards by the body that's accrediting / certifying you. And she was, in our division, she was the go-to person, I think, on that. What else makes a good manager? Good analytical skills, being able to analyze problems, being able to work through problems. I think makes a really good manager as well. Being able to analyze, okay, when this policy and procedure is fitting, when it's not fitting, when to change policy and procedure, how to modify it so that it fits the standards, but it also conforms with best practices in whatever industry you're working in. And that's a juggling act, and I think managers, people with strong manager skills, are really good at balancing that. If you've ever done True Colors, it's your gold / yellow. They call it yellow for now, but when I did it was gold. Those are your managers. They're task oriented. They're perfectionists. They want to get things. They want to do things efficiently and effectively. Sometimes efficiency comes first, effectiveness comes later, but depends on the kind of manager, I think, that you have, or what kind of managers in that leadership position. What else? My brain is a little bit foggy, I apologize. I think that every agency needs some people in leadership positions with strong managerial skills. If they don't have that, if they have, I think, people with just strong leadership skills, strong supervisory skills, that agency is not going to be able to function, especially if it goes through audits or accreditation or certification or whatever you want to call it. Because those managers, like I said, they're going to help you through those processes. And also managers are good to go to if you have to yourself, if you need to learn how to organize your life better, organize your time better. Some of the strong managerial skills really, can help you do that, right? When I was talking about Stephen Covey a couple episodes ago, again, he talks about, again, the leader as giving direction, as we got to go this way, we got to go that way. But the manager, again, is they're looking at all the resources that a given agency or organization has, and they're trying to utilize those resources as best as possible. And it takes someone with strong managerial skills to be able to do that. Whether it's organizing training and trying to find the best bang for your buck when it comes for training, or trying to figure out what training, meets what standards of your organization. Again, right, if you have physical resources, say you're dealing with say office space, managers are probably the best ones to figure out how to design offices. Again, right, there's always disagreements on that, and what people want is what people want. But again, managers are about using resources effectively. And when you're in a leadership position and when you have to figure out how to use resources, whether, again, like I talked before about being a med rep, okay, what forms to use here, how to best develop forms so that you don't have 5 or 6 forms, you might have 1 or 2 forms. Again, that's another strong task of a manager. Organizing meetings, agenda items, putting timelines, again, another managerial task. So managers, I think, they're doing a lot of the they're doing a lot of the concrete stuff that really lays the foundation for a solid, strong organization. Again, leaders are important for talking direction, values, etc., etc. Supervisors are good for those interpersonal skills, maybe to draw people in. I too. And to keep people in. But those managers are going to make sure that those people are being used effectively. That those people, again, right? The supervisor may know staff is good here, staff needs struggles there, but the manager part of them is going to say, okay, because I understand their strengths are here, where do I want to use them? Because I understand their challenges here, where do I want to use them? That's the managerial part. So, and again, it almost sounds like you're one person and you need to have multiple personalities, and it's not that complicated. I don't think people really sit down and think, okay, how do I act like a manager right now? How do I act like a supervisor? How do I act like a leader? Or what role is needed in this situation? And I think that if people do that, if people start to do that, they're going to be stronger people. They're going to be stronger, leaders, supervisors, managers for it. So that's my talk for today. And that's going to conclude my series. I don't think there's a need to revisit stuff next week. Like I was thinking of, I had a bunch of stuff in my head, but on this I changed my mind. And again, thanks for suffering through my message with my sore voice. Hopefully it comes out clear on the video. So in the meantime, to all my broasters with the coasters, zap that like button, because I like you. And remember, be yourself, because nobody else can.